What's up guys, this is BloodBurger back again with another definitive budget character guide for Diablo 3. Today I have Pyrrha with me, my sexy new monk, and she's capable of farming up to Inferno 3 or 4 in very affordable budget gear. For you guys who are familiar with my budget whirlwind barbarian guide, feel free to skip ahead to any specific part of this guide by using the links in the video description below. For you new guys, sit tight because over the course of this video I'm going to show you how to set up budget goals on the AH, how to set up your skills and play the character effectively, and the most effective routes for farming with your monk. Pyrrha and I cleared Inferno in about 3 hours our first time, and if you follow this guide to a T, you'll see for yourself how powerful and underrated this class really is. Mobs will explode and you'll be checking the upper right hand corner of your screen from time to time to make sure you're really playing on Inferno difficulty. So now without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so now let's talk a little bit about the primary stats here and what each one of them means to a monk. Starting with strength here, you'll see that I have about 601 strength. Not our primary concern, really doesn't matter to monks all that much. It increases armor, which is always important, but we have other tricks in our bag that'll help us deal with damage mitigation and survivability, so strength, not a big deal. Dexterity, our primary stat, very important, gotta have it. The more you have, the more damage you will do. This will also increase your dodge chance by a certain percentage, so you want to pile that on. I'm not really going to talk about the bare minimums like I did in the Whirlwind Barbarian Guide, but I'm going to talk about what I had to make me feel comfortable and almost overpowered, you know, blowing through my first Inferno playthrough. So you'll see that Pyrrha has about 2009. Like I said before, the more of this you have, the more damage you do, the more dodging you're going to do, so pile it on. Intelligence gives you resistances, bonus resistances. Other than that, not important, don't look for it, not a big deal. Vitality, I would get enough of this to get you to about 40,000 life. Honestly, 50,000 I think might be our target, but she has about 1,110, so that gives her about 40k, and it feels okay. With the damage mitigation and our skill set, this amount of vitality works just fine. 1,010. Armor reduces damage by 59.82% at about 4,466 armor. Armor is always a good thing to have. The more of it you have, the less damage you're going to take. Like I said before, it's not a huge concern of ours. It's not a big deal like, you know, it would be for like a barbarian, but it's a good stat to have if you can get it at a reasonable price. Our damage here, 48,526. Basically that comes in the form of crit chance, which is at 29.5%, and also critical hit damage, which is at 238. Definitely want to have high damage. The more damage you do, there's no better defense than a great offense, or I don't know how that quote is supposed to be said, but you definitely want more damage. The more damage you have, the quicker you can farm, the more efficient you're going to be. Our resistances here are at an even 780. I'm going to talk about why every one of these resistances is in line and perfectly matched later in the skill section, but I find that 700 to 800 is probably overkill. You can probably get away with having about 600, but you know, this gives us about 72% mitigation from the elements, so to speak. 780 resist all. Let's see here, maximum life, like I said, 39,000, about 40k. Little life per second, really doesn't matter. I have no life steal, no life per kill, no life per hit on this character. Don't really need it. Those are actually affixes that make gear very expensive, so not our huge concern, or not a huge concern for us right now, so we're just going to skip it. Movement speed. Let's talk about speed, period. Speed is overpowered in Diablo 3. Speed absolutely kills. Attack speed kills. Movement speed gets you around quicker. Gotta have it. I have about 24% here. Shoot for somewhere no less than 12. Bare minimum 12. Gold Find and Magic Find, not a big deal. We're going to get those through Paragon leveling, so don't sweat that. Also wanted to talk about attacks per second, 2.03. Like I said before, speed kills. The faster you can swing your weapons, the more damage you're going to do, the faster you're going to kill shit, the more loot you're going to get, the happier you're going to be. So, yeah, speed. So that just about does it for stats here. Let's go ahead and talk about items in the next section. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Pyrrha's gear here, starting with her helmet. This is a rare spirit stone, 361 armor, 88 dex, 95 vitality, 59 cold resistance, 78 resist all, 4% crit. Really nice helmet. I opted to go without a socket because it makes it very expensive, and honestly don't really need it. The percentage to life, not a big deal, and I wasn't too concerned about the bonus experience from a ruby because we play for fun. It's not like I'm in a race to Paragon level as fast as I can. Not a big deal. This helmet cost me 250k on the AH. Now, I want to talk quickly about cold resistance. You want to pick one resistance. Doesn't matter what it is. Cold, fire, poison, arcane, lightning, whatever. Because your talent, one with everything, means that your highest resistance, all of your other resistances are going to be equal to the highest resistance that you pick. So that's the reason why I have 780 resist all for everything, because all of my other resistances match how much cold resistance I have. Get what I'm saying? We'll talk about it again in the skill section, but for now just keep that in the back of your mind, and when you do AH searches, pick a resist. Usually it's whichever piece of gear is cheapest for you. So say you go in and you search for a piece of chest armor, you search for cold resistance, and you find a piece of armor for, you know, say 50k. You find a piece of armor that has the same stats, but it has fire resistance instead of cold resistance, but it's 30k. Go with the fire resistance piece because it's cheaper, and all of your other resistances are going to match that particular stat. So I don't want to say too much about this right now because I don't want to confuse you, but just keep that in the back of your mind. Moving on to the shoulder piece here. Let me just catch my breath. Hulk Shelter, 324 armor shoulder, got 96 dexterity, 93 vitality, 34 cold resist, 66 resist all. Really nice shoulder piece. Pick that up for 200k. Chest, target guard, 448 armor, 86 dex, huge vitality, 246, 57 cold resistance, 69 resist all, a little bit of life per second, 125k chest piece. Now let's see here for the gloves. Savvy Gauge, 243 armor, 216 dex, which is huge. Attack speed and crit chance are what you want to always look for on gloves. You have to have that, so never skimp on that statistic on gloves, or those statistics rather. 7% attack speed, 7.5% crit chance, really nice stuff. For the bracers, oh, I'm sorry, the gloves cost me 125k. I'm sorry, 300k. Sorry. Bracers, last irons, 151 armor, 90 dex, 51 cold resistance, 74 resist all, 97 life per second, 5% crit chance. Always want crit chance on your bracers as well. Those cost me 120k. Moving on to the pants, Vagabonds and Nexus, 378 armor, 85 dex, 220 vitality, which is huge, 48 cold resistance, and 2 sockets. Now, you can search for all resist, or you can search for sockets. You're probably not going to get both, so pick whichever one is worth more to you, or which one you feel like you might want to have, and search for that one. Don't search for both because it'll probably not happen, number one, or be too expensive if it does. I also have 2 emeralds in there that add the extra 38 dexterity in both slots. So those cost me 35k, which was really under budget. For this build, my budget is 5 million. So that puts me at about 460,000 per piece. You can already tell that I'm way under budget for this stuff. Let's see now, moving on to the boots. Black runners, 464 armor, big dex, 160, 70 vitality, 48 cold resistance, 12% movement speed. Do not settle for less. 12% movement speed is the bare minimum that you have to run this build. You do not want to be trudging around like your feet are in the mud. You got to move fast. It's the only way to be efficient. The boots cost me 400k. Let's see here. For the belt, Keen Sash, 492 armor, 97 dex, 138 vitality, 42 cold resistance, 63 resist all. That cost me 115k, I believe it was. Yeah, 115k. Really nice vitality on there. Good resistances, nice dexterity. So that's a solid belt. Ring number 1, 13 max damage. Now, you ask Blood, why do you have max damage on your ring? Max damage is a very underrated stat. Sometimes it can add more damage, more raw damage, than dexterity or crit chance or even crit damage. So max damage, min damage, those are good stats to have. Look for them. So this one has 13 max damage, 83 dex, 8% attack speed, which again, speed kills. Gotta have attack speed on your rings. Gotta have crit chance on your rings. 4% on this ring. This ring sent me back 500k. Ring number 2, 28 to 57 damage. Again, very good stat, adds a lot of damage. This one actually gives me 49 cold resistance as well, another 8% attack speed, and 4% crit chance. Now you can see Pyrrha really doesn't mess around when she's attacking. She's a fast girl. She's a quick girl. So that's what you want. Okay. That ring also 500k. Now the amulet, the flavor of time, my beautiful flavor of time. I got lucky. This amulet actually dropped while I was leveling Pyrrha up. I got it when I was like level, I don't know, 57 or something like that. So I didn't have to buy an amulet. This one is absolutely solid. 146 dex, 107 vitality, another 7% attack speed, and another 12% movement speed. Also reduces duration of stuns and fears and all that stuff by 10%. So this one was free. So that saved me 460k, which effectively bumped my budget up to about 600,000 per item. So I got really lucky on that one. Weapon number 1, Death Blast, 869 damage per second, 291 dex, which is huge, 46 crit damage, and a socket, which I put another gem in for another 50% crit damage. That weapon was 1 million gold. Weapon number 2, Hunter Slasher, 863, 287 dex, which is, again, that's really big. 42 crit damage, and a socket for another 50%. So that was good. Another $1 million weapon, million gold weapon. I don't know why I always say dollar. Sorry about that. So yeah, that's pretty much the build. I needed 4 gems. Those cost me 200k on the auction house. So yeah, total 4,745,000. Well under budget. I could have actually spent a little bit more money here, but yeah, didn't have to. Now, for those of you that say, hey, Blood, you know, 4 million is a lot of gold. What if I'm starting from scratch? I have no money, no nothing, you know, I have nothing at all. 5 million gold will run you $1.85 on the real money auction house. So I don't really want to hear complaining about I can't get any gold, because you can go and buy a little bit of gold if you are absolutely desperate. If you're a young kid, you can ask your mom, please mom, can I have $2 so I can build this monk? I'll probably make it back by finding something on the real money auction, or selling something on the real money auction house. Please, can I, you know, beg your mom, beg your brother, whatever. You can get 5 million gold. It's not a problem. So those are the items. Let's move on now to looking at the AH. Alright, so I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail with the real money auction, not real money auction house, just the AH in general, because not that much has changed, and the majority of you guys probably already know how to use this. In recent patches, we've been given 6 stat searches now, so we can really narrow things down, to what we're trying to find. So let's just use a chest piece as an example. Set this to armor. Chest armor, and none of this stuff really matters. Here is where you want to put in your the maximum amount of gold that you are willing to pay for a piece. So like I said before, my budget was 5 million. My maximum buyout per item was 460,000. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there. So for my chest piece, I wanted all resist, I wanted some dex, I wanted some vitality. Let me see, what else did I want on that? Let's just say cold resistance. And then I hit search, right? So now, something to keep in mind about this is that the first preferred stat that you put here will be the first one in line here that you can sort by. Okay, so we'll sort this by resist. You see that this piece is 80 resist all. It's got 2 sockets here. It's got 36 cold resistance, 44 dex, 26 vitality, which is absolutely crap. So let's narrow that down a little more. Let's say I want to go, 150 vitality, no less than 150 vitality, and see what comes back. Okay, we can sort that by buyout now. Armor. Let's see here, 72 dex, 36 int. 151 vitality, 49 cold resistance, 56 resist all, 786 armor. Not a bad piece. Costs 199,000. Basically, you're gonna want to spend a lot of time here. Try to find the best piece of armor that you can find within your budget, and this takes some time. Don't rush it. Once you're level 60, the hard work is over. The hardest part about building any of these characters is going from 1 to 60. That's really the hardest part. Once that's out of the way, you can kick back and just take your time and coast through everything else. So go through this stuff with a fine-tooth comb, just kind of pick over it and make sure you really get the deal that you are looking for. Check my playlist, my Diablo 3 playlist, and look for the series called What's This Worth? I did about 4 videos that kind of show you the ins and outs of the auction house, and really where to spend your money, how to find the best deal, what's worth what, items that you should avoid picking up even. Also revisit the Whirlwind Barbarian guide and the auction house section, because I go into a little bit more detail since that wasn't the first guide I wrote for this type of stuff, until you really get a good feel for how the auction house works. But just keep in mind the statistics and the items that I showed you in the past section when you are looking for items here for yourself. Alright, just keep those in mind and you should be able to find the right deal for the right price, no problem. Alright, so the auction house troubles are over, you got all your gear, and it's time to pick your skills and get ready to kick some ass. So let's just kind of go over these abilities one by one and learn what they do. Your primary attack here is going to be Fists of Thunder. This skill is a quick series of punches that do 110 weapon damage. Every third hit does damage in a cone to enemies in front of you and has a slight knockback. This is your only spirit generator, so it's very important to have fast weapons and a good amount of attack speed to help it out. I have it ruined with Thunderclap for the teleport, because I find that it's helpful to have a gap closer, but that's just me. Another good choice is Quickening for the extra 15 spirit per target hit. Your right mouse button should be Serenity. This is kind of your oh shit button. So if you ever get into trouble, you can buy yourself a little bit of time with this 3-second bubble. It'll also remove movement impairing effects such as stuns and roots. I have it ruined for Peaceful Repose. response. Is this supposed to be response or riposte? I don't know. But that's basically a 6,000 to 7,000 hit point heal. Your first action bar skill should be Blinding Flash. This skill will blind everything in a 20-yard radius for 3 seconds. Elite mobs recover quickly, or quicker rather, but have a 30% chance to miss. I use the Faith in the Light rune for a 30% damage increase over 3 seconds. Next, I take Breath of Heaven, which is a 6,000 to 7,000 heal, insta heal. I use the Blazing Wrath rune with it for a 15% damage boost over the next 45 seconds. Mantra of Conviction is a must-have damage booster. All enemies within 20 yards take a 12% damage increase. When this skill is used, the damage is bumped up to 24% by default, but I take the Overawe rune for a 24% bonus with a 48% bump when the skill is first applied. This effect lasts for about 3 minutes. Now, lastly, I use Sweeping Wind, which is a vortex that does 15% weapon damage to anything within 10 yards. When you crit, this is why it's important to have a high crit percentage, because when you crit, the damage has a chance to intensify to 30%, and again to 3 stacks and 45%. The skill is pretty expensive at 75 spirit, but it acts almost like a Barbarian's Wrath of the Berserker with Thrive on Chaos, in that if you can keep attacking, the skill will not fall off. I rune this with Cyclone so that when the vortex is at 3 stacks, there's a chance to release lightning tornadoes that do 20% damage, 20% weapon damage rather, on every crit for 3 seconds. Now, all of the passive skills are pretty much defensive. We take Resolve for 20% damage reduction every time damage is dealt. Seize the Initiative, which is basically an armor increase by 50% of dexterity. And One with Everything, which makes it so that every resistance is equal to that of my highest resistance, which on Pyrrha is Cold. Now that you have an idea of what the build looks like, let's go ahead and take a look at the playstyle. Alright, so let's just quickly have a little live gameplay here to kind of show you how the build works. I'm just going to jump into somewhere where the action might be kind of thick. So basically you're just diving in with your primary. You're just wailing away. You want to hit your vortex, which is on 4 for me. Blind, heal, 3. Basically, you're not going to get into too much trouble with this build at all. Get some more mobs here so you can see how this works. Here's a pack. So I vortex, right? I open with that, blind. Give me a heal because I'm getting low. I'm on the oh shit button just in case, but I'm not going to need it. You're doing a lot of damage. Okay, oh shit button is in effect. I'm going to heal. And number 3 for a little extra damage. 3 again. 3 again. You're on your potion as well if you get into trouble. Blind, buy yourself some time, run out of the freezing. Jump back in. Oh shit button's coming back up, so if I need it, I can use it. Go ahead and hit it there. 3 again. 3 again. Blind. And yeah, simple stuff. If you're having a hard time tearing through opponents like this, then you probably shouldn't be there. Turn the volume down, turn the difficulty down a little bit, and just, you know, don't bite off more than you can chew. Play what you can, and be efficient with your farming. Don't try to force it. As the gear comes, you'll be able to turn the difficulty up and face harder opponents. Hit the vortex one more time, give me that blind. 2, 3, 3. And this is why I like teleport, because you can kind of bounce in between them. 3. Oh shit button. Blind. 2. Just jump over here and grab one of these health globes. Health globe. These guys are a pain in the ass. Yeah, they're a pain in the ass. There's always going to be mobs that are pains in the asses, but you do what you can. As you see here, you never want to get cornered. If you get cornered, your monk is done. So always play smart. If you're facing death, there's no shame in running away. Because when you start dying, then you're no longer efficient. And an efficient farmer is a useless farmer. Inefficient farmer, rather, is a useless farmer. These guys are such a pain in the ass, by the way. Yeah, but that's a general idea on how you play this character. Alright, bros and gals, so that just about does it for this definitive budget monk guide. Hope you guys took something from it. She was a blast to make. Fun character, very effective farmer. I think very underrated. Hopefully this guide will point you guys in the right direction. If it helped you guys out, do me a favor and follow my Twitch TV channel, my Twitter page, and follow my Facebook. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like and thumbs up the videos. And as always, thank you guys for watching.
We must go.